So today, I'm going to talk to you guys about ACEs. ACEs are adverse childhood experiences. They're a major influence on adult violence, victimization, of drug abuse, just abuse in general, and mental disorders, as well as some health issues. Before we get into that, I'm going to give you some definitions on some words I feel like we need to clarify before we start talking about ACEs. So I'm going to clarify the difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is feeling someone else's feelings. So when someone's sad, you're sad. Sympathy is when someone's sad, you're like, oh, poor thing, you know, you're sad for them, feeling sorry. I really feel like in order to understand mental health, we have to have a lot of empathy versus sympathy. We don't need to feel sorry for other people. We need to understand that although this might not be a big problem to us, it's huge to them. Sometimes world-shattering. And we need to feel that pain with them. A lot of times people just need to, I feel the same way you do. They don't need somebody to tell them that everything's going to be okay. They just need to know that they're not the only ones that feel like that. The second words we're going to talk about are equity and equality. Equality is everybody gets $1. Equity is you already have $1, you don't have one, so you'll get $1. You have 50 cents, so you'll get 50 cents. Everybody gets the help that they need, not just a baseline help. I think it's important to have equity when we deal with ACEs along with mental health issues, because some people need an arm and a leg. They need you there 24/7, and some people just need you to check in on them once a week. And I think it's important that we don't do a once a week baseline for everybody. We do based on their needs and what they require. And then we're going to talk about correlation versus causation. So correlation is, let's say A goes up as B goes up, but A does not cause B to go up. Causation is A goes up because B goes up. We need to understand the difference, because sometimes childhood issues are dealt with, but they're not like necessarily the main cause of why somebody acts out in adulthood or why somebody did something. And then after that, we're going to talk about self-identification, so how to recognize an ACE in yourself. If you've ever been bullied while you were a child, ate a lot of junk food, those are considered ACEs. If you ever felt neglected or if you were ever abused, those can cause chemical differences in your brain, which can lead to adult mental disorders or addictions. And then how do you identify ACEs in other people? So you kind of know what your life story was when you grew up. You know what happened that was bad in your childhood, what still hurt you from when you were a kid, but you don't necessarily know that about every other classmate. It's not a for sure way to look at things, but if somebody kind of has problems with everybody, they might have an ACE, something that they're still dealing with from their childhood. If somebody has an adult addiction, that might be something from their childhood. That's why I really think it's important to have empathy versus sympathy, because sometimes people don't get along with everybody, and it's not necessarily because that person likes drama or this. They might be going something entirely different that you didn't even think about. So I think it's important to really put yourself in other people's shoes, and extend grace all the time with yourself and with other people. Like I said, oh, I'm sorry, that was a mint. I dropped out of my mouth. Childhood traumas cause ACEs. So, and they can also cause physical changes in your body. And the reason why it's important to know your ACEs as well as other people's is because I think it's important as an adult to know your shortcomings, to be as successful as you can. I'm sorry. It's important to know what your shortcomings are so you know where to improve. It's also important to live mindfully so that you can find yourself and help others be the strongest that they can be. And then there are some helplines. So as the Native Americans, we have IHS, which isn't always so reliable. We have technology, so we have YouTube, we have online resources, 1-800 numbers. I really think it's important to live mindfully and find a purpose every single day, whether it's working out or reading a book or trying your best in school. Just find your niche and find what gives you purpose in your everyday life. There's also centers where if you have the funds, you can pay for help. But like I said, right now, healthcare really isn't on the whole equity versus equality kind of thing. They're like, if you need mental help, you're gonna go once a week like everyone else, and you know, sometimes, a lot of times recovery is at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're, you know, on the edge and you need to talk to somebody. So I really feel like you need to go out and sort of be an adult and find your group. Find people who are gonna wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and talk you down. Find people who are willing to go out to the gym and tell you to go, you know, push yourself harder. Find people who are gonna say, hey, I know it's Friday night and everybody else is going out, let's go like watch a movie or let's go play a video game. Find positive influences, even if sometimes it's a younger child. So if you have a niece or a nephew, make that your best friend, because they're obviously not gonna go out and drink. They're not gonna go out and, you know, traumatize yourself in the name of having fun because everyone else is doing it. And be that person for other people. You know what people your age do, you know what happens during the semester, you know the same thing because we all kind of live the same life. So be that person, strength for someone else, and sometimes that might give you strength, is being strong for somebody else, getting your mind off of your own things. Like I said, an ACE is an adverse childhood experience, which can be anything from bullying to eating junk food all the time, feeling abandoned, drug abuse in the home, or just abuse in the home. And it's important to recognize it within yourself and within others so that you can be as successful as you can be. Thank you.